Hey everyone, to stick with us versus herd. Today we're going to be going over Tastyworks, kind of doing an in-depth tutorial on how I use it, how I like to use the platform, and just kind of the easy use. Tastyworks is my go-to platform for putting in orders or doing orders on the market. I do use Thinkorswim for charts, and I will go over that. But first, if you guys could do me a big favor, hit the like button for the YouTube algo, helps me out. And if you want to join the UVH fam, our community, links are below in the description to our Discord and our options trading group on Facebook. And we just launched the Us versus Herd Academy if you want to learn options trading. Click the link below in the description. So getting into it, I'm going to actually minimize myself so I can give you the full screen of what I'm looking at in Tastyworks and give you a good overview. And first off, one of the things that I like about Tastyworks versus like competitors, Thinkorswim, is you get the nice red to green, visual. You can see, okay, what's performing well in your portfolio, what's not performing well. What is actually going on here? How much are you up at open? How much are you up on the day? And, I have my column set up where I have my P&L open, which means my profit and loss. This is like, since I put this trade on, how much am I up on this trade or down on this trade? So am I up on this trade overall, down on this trade? This will tell me if I'm making a profit or a loss. My P&L day is going to say, okay, how much money are you up just today? So maybe I was red on a trade yesterday and we got back a bunch of money. Like if you look at this trade right here, like DoorDash saying P&L open, but my P&L day is 102, that means I was down $32 yesterday. So if I'm up overall in the position, so if I sold it right now, I would make $70, but my P&L on the daily is 102. So that means I was actually negative on this trade yesterday. So same with NVIS. NVIS, I'm up $82 on the day. However, my profit and loss at open, it is up $30 overall on this trade since the beginning of time. Same with NIO. And then I personally like to have my percentages. I'm a big believer in trading off of percentages. It doesn't matter how much money you're trading with, whether you're trading with $100, $5,000, or $100,000. One thing that you can always rely on is what percentage are you up? So I look to see, okay, I'm at 11% gain on this. I'm at a 24% loss on this. I'm at a 15% gainer on NVIS right in here. So I really use percentages to guide me in terms of what I am looking for my profit targets. And Tastyworks allows you to take profits at a percentage too, which I'll cover in a second here, which will kind of relay into that. And then I also like you have the realized today. So this is how much money I've realized today. So today I'm up $394. And what does that mean? It means these are trades that I've taken off, and you can kind of see here RK and Snap, the P&L open is at 0 because these are at 0. I closed the position out. I made $314 on RK. I made $80 on Snapchat. So that is, I like that feature. It doesn't just tell you what your P&L was overall. Like Thinkorswim will actually zero it out what you were up overall, but Tastyworks does not. So I really like that feature. Now, the delta and theta, obviously I'm always keeping track of where my deltas are at. I'm always keeping track of where my theta is at, and this makes it really nice. And then I don't really use probability of profit all that much. Probably at all, because obviously it kind of skews your trade idea. Some people use it, some people don't. I haven't found great success with it. I'll probably just remove it. Cost and net liquid, I like to see is like, okay, how much did this trade cost me overall? As you can see, like if you look at like DoorDash right here, I have two credit put spreads right in here. My cost is 620. And my net lick is 540. So net liquidating value is like, okay, how much money is it if I sold it right now? What's my net liquidating value if I liquidated that position right now? I closed that position and liquidated it. So since I'm short contracts here, so I'm short 2 of these contracts, it's good that my cost is 620 and net lick was down because I want the contract value to go down. Now DKNG, as you can see here, DKNG, I'm long one call. My cost on this was $565. If I sold it right now, it's worth $415. So $415. So immediately because I'm long a call here, I want the contract to go up. I don't want the contract to go down. I don't want to be down money. So here it cost me $565, and it's currently valued at $417 net liquidated value. So, it gives me, I like to set my portfolio up this way because it gives me a good view of kind of what's going on here. And obviously you can change these columns anytime that you want. If you just click on this little cogwheel here in the upper right where it says details and config, just click on it, and then you can see here. And if you want to like pause the screen, and you can copy what my trades are here, or what my columns are here. You can definitely do that. So you can drag, it's just pretty easy. All you do is drag and drop. So if you want the description, you can drag and drop here. So let's say I want the description at the end. I'll put it under net liquidity here and hit OK. And as you can see here, it added that down in here. So I don't need it, but let me toss this off. So you can kind of play with the columns, but this is how I have my columns up. I mean, some people have unrealized day gain, but I have the realized today. So that's how I like to set it up. Now, I really like also how tastyworks displays what your contracts are. So, let's say you're in a position, let's say for like NIO, for instance, I'm in this position. Maybe I put it on a while ago. Sometimes, you want to see what this is, but it really outlays what your position is here. Is I'm selling 2 contracts at the 55 put, and I'm long the 50 put. So I really like that visual. And then also there's a feature in tastyworks that if you click on this under chains right in here, this will actually tell you on a stock how well you've been performing on this, what positions are still open, what positions are still closing. Because sometimes when you're trading a lot, you have a lot of trades on, you're kind of like, hey, am I trading this stock well? Am I performing well on the stock? And you see, hey, NIO, last 30 days, I'm up $1,000. That's good overall. Last 60 days, I'm up 1,060. So, relatively, I've been making most of the money in here the last 30 days, right? So this stock has been a good performer for me in the last 30 days, saying here I made $1,000 on it. And you can kind of see here what those trades were. Seeing this one was a vertical. I really like the chains because it tells you what the strategy actually was. Like right here was a vertical put spread. It got a $1.35 credit. Bought it back, closed it here for 86-cent credit. So that made about 50 cents per contract. Had 6 of them here. On this trade here was a naked call. Bought it for $6.95, sold it for $8.55. Tells you, see, I opened this position on December 22nd, closed it on January 4th. So the chains really tell you, keeps the trade together because you're like, hey, what was I doing on this last month, last week? This really helps me keep my mind clear and say I can go back into this kind of like a journal and look at what my trades were on this and like, hey, remember when this happened? Remember this happened? I mean, going back, you can go back 60 days only. I mean, right now you can only go back 60 days on the chains, but this really helps you keep together your trades. Is this a good performer? And it also helps you like, okay, if I'm selling premium on here on NAO, let's say I'm down money on it and I want to roll this. Does it make sense to roll based on my past history? Does it make sense to put more money up in if my P&L on this stock, like if it's a bad performer for me, if I'm not doing well in a stock, maybe I don't want to invest any more money on it. And this gives you a really quick view. You can go in real quick and just see how you're doing. Like Snow, if you take a look at Snow, I got some positions on there. Snow, I'm up $91 on it in the last 30 days. In the last 60 days, I'm up $612. So I made most of my money, over 30 days ago. Right now, I'm starting to make a little bit more money in here, but you can kind of see here, like this was a big hit. Like I was trading this very, very well. You can see here, a call, bought it for 19, sold it for 22, had a vertical put spread in here, had a call, bought it for 19, sold it for 22 again, bought another call, bought it for 15, sold it for 17. But then you can see here, $8.75 loss right here. I had a contract for 24 and I sold it for 15, got stopped out. So you have to kind of see, like, why did I have that loss? And I always think to myself, like, okay, what happened here? Why did I have this loss? And this stock, should I keep trading it? Is this a big blowout? But since I'm still profitable on this, yes, it's a big loss. I defended it, put on some more credit put spreads, and just kind of like riding it out right now. And that seems to be, that strategy for today, at least for this trade, seems to be going, fairly well right now. We're up a couple $100 on that, so we're just kind of chipping away. So when I'm looking at my trades here and looking at my book, I'm seeing how my business is running. How's it going? Are things going well? Things not going well? What is going on here? And sometimes you kind of forget like what you did, like this MVIS trade in here. MVIS, like I don't even remember when I put this trade on, but if I check the chain history here, it's like, oh, on December 22nd, I got a 95-cent credit for it. I shorted 2 naked puts, and I can kind of see, okay, so if I got 95 cents, the $6 stock, a six strike, that means my cost basis is at 505 for the stock. So that means if this, even though this is in the money right now, this puts in the money, which I don't want it to be, I'm still going to be okay. As long as MVIS stays above 505, I'm going to be okay. So that's kind of how I use to check my risk, see, if I'm going to be okay, and see if I need to make any adjustments on this. So, this video is not really a strategy video. So if you want to see all the strategies, I definitely recommend joining the UVH Academy. Link is in the description for that. So I just want to kind of go over how I use tastyworks to look at my trades, go over my trades. That's pretty much how I use the portfolio section. Also, it's very nice. Like if you look in here, if you have a question about a stock, I like how the sidebar here syncs with whatever you're doing here. Or if let's say I click on a stock. So let's say I click on ARK. I click on ARK. This then syncs it to everywhere. It syncs from up in here to the right hand column here, will give me more information and say, okay, maybe I'm looking at, maybe a stock has earnings. I really like how tastyworks flags earnings, any information here, what the liquidity is of this stock. It tells me if the options are liquid. Should I be trading this at all? Yes or no, essentially. So, and then also gives you the overview of the order. But one thing that I do like, let's go to the options chain, is options chain, for beginners and for more people that are a little bit more experienced. They give you 2 options. It's the table and the curve screen here. The table and the curve screen. You're like, I don't know what the curve screen is. I don't know what the table is, So if you, every platform pretty much has the options chain. Tastyworks and I think Webull started to implement the curve as well. But let's say if I go into, let's say I'm looking at ARK and I want to buy a call, I'm kind of looking here. One thing that I will say about the options chain is this red or orange highlighted piece. This is where the expected move is. So this is where the option pricing expected move is expected to be within this range within this expiration date. So you can, visually, as you can tell, tastyworks is already making you think and see things differently than other platforms, and that really helps me make decisions really quick. Am I buying contracts that's out of the expected range? Sure, you could do the math. Like right here, you could do plus or minus $6. So it's saying, hey, plus or minus $6, it's gonna be in that range. The expected move is going to be plus or minus $6. So as you can see here, so 684. So as you can see here, the orange line is going down to 129 up to 120, 140-ish on the high end. And all it is doing plus or minus is taking this number right here, plus or minus 684, and displaying it for you here. So the options market is saying for ARK by January 15th, it's going to move $6.84. So like already I'm thinking like, well, if the expected move, let's say I want to buy premium, the expected move is 684. Do I want to buy the 150 call way out of the expected range? Probably not. However, if I'm doing an iron condor, do I want to, like, let's say I sell premium, do I want to do something like far out of the expected range like this? Do I want to go put an iron condor out far out? Maybe I do. Maybe I want to. I don't like this trade. This is just for examples only. But maybe I do. Maybe like for selling premium, I want to be far away from the expected move. I just collect a little bit of money, and you could definitely do that. And I think visually it allows you to do that. The other nice thing with the options chain, or with any of the options, it makes it easy for me to click and move things around. So let's say I want to buy a call. All I have to do is hit buy call. Here, I just hit the ask. It'll highlight green. That means I'm a buyer. It'll also say down here, I'm getting a debit for this, 310 debit. So that's how I know I'm buying a call. I'm getting a debit. Now, if I wanted to short, let's say a put, it would show up like this. It would say, hey, I'm shorting this put right here. This shows up in red, and it will highlight down here. You're getting a credit for this. So that's how you can kind of see that you can separate yourself from a buyer or a seller. It's like, hey, is it red or is it green? If it's red, you're short. If it's green, you're long. So that I really like that. And then also, let's say let's go back to buying the call. I can then switch back to the curve screen. You can switch back and forth and drag and drop. You can see whatever you do on either screen switches back and forth. And this will tell you like, hey, where are you going to be green? Where are you going to be red? That kind of thing. So I like that for beginners. They have the curve screen because a lot of times people get confused with the table screen. If you're new, sometimes you need, for me, like I'm a very, very, very visual person. I want to see it. If I can see it, my brain will make a decision very quickly if I can see what that trade potentially can do, which kind of leads into the next area is the analysis section. But before we get into the analysis section, I just want to show you the strategy. I'm not going to actually go through these, but you can actually go through and immediately click. Let me clear this real quick. And let's say I want to do a cover call. All I have to do is hit go, and it'll automatically say, hey, you purchase 100 shares. You can short one call, and then you can actually move this around, change the order based on what you want. If you want to do let's say a long strangle, just hit go, show you what that is, and then you can kind of move the legs this way. And that's the thing is, like when you're making adjustments on this platform, it's very, very fast because I could just drag and drop. Other platforms you can't do that. Like on this, you could just drag and move these to different strikes, and you can kind of see like, is this something good? Is this something I don't want to do? And just play with the pricing. Other platforms, you got to like click, clear, change it down in here. I mean, it's a bit of a process, but on the desktop, like you are zinging through. Like when I trade on tastyworks, I'm just flying through. I'm able to make adjustments and just make quick decisions that way. Also, will tell you immediately, are you at the mid? Are you at the ask? Are you buying the ask? Right now, it's automatically adjusting for the mid price for me. Other platforms won't do that. It's already saying, hey, this is the mid. The ask is 330. The bid is 290. The mid price is 310. So I'll just hit it, review, send, kick it right off, and really, really fast. Unlike like Robinhood and stuff, you have to like wait, you have to cancel, replace the order, and it's a big hassle. But going into analysis, I'm actually going to use let's use Apple for an example for the analysis tab. And this is something that I really, really enjoy on the platform. Also, if earnings is up on the platform on the earnings trade, you can see here, sometimes you're like, hey, why are certain contracts more expensive than others? And they actually, in tastyworks, flags it right here is it's purple January 26th. They're saying, hey, earnings is January 26th on Apple. It's going to take place. They don't say, sometimes they'll say before, after market close. They don't know yet, so they don't have it in here. But right now, January 26th, could you say, hey, maybe I don't want to be in a trade that goes into earnings. Maybe I want to be a trade before earnings. Maybe I want to capture a pre-earnings run up. So I want to trade, the January 22nd contracts and not the January 29th contracts. So I think visually that helps you. They also have one for dividend. It's marked with a D. It'll be blue. It'll say that way, because if you're selling premium, sometimes you have to pay a dividend. If you're short in the money, you're gonna have to pay a dividend out to the the person that holds the option. If you're an option seller, so the option buyer, you're gonna have to pay a dividend out to. So it's nice to say, like, if you don't want to pay the dividend, you can roll it out and make sure you're keeping track of everything that you're doing in terms of your options trading, making sure you're using the right strategy and you're able to get in and get out and be in the right expiration, so you're not making mistakes. It's like, oh man, wish I wasn't in that expiration because I didn't know that earnings was coming, stuff like that. So it keeps you in the know. But going into the analysis tab in here, now this is interesting. I prefer to display it on the curve. You can also switch back and forth. But let's actually look at on Apple. Let's try to say, okay, let's say I want to put on right now implied volatility is at 45%. Implied volatility for this expiration, January 29th. January 26th is earnings. So I'm like, hey, maybe implied volatility is low. Maybe I think implied volatility is going to increase. So maybe I'll buy a call, or maybe I'll do like a debit call spread if I think the stock is going to go up. So let's just look at a naked call. So let's say I want to buy this call here for the 131 strike. Okay, implied volatility is really low. Costs about $5, $500. Let's run the numbers and see what this looks like over time to see if this is a trade that I want to get in. I'm not going to go full into the analysis, just do a quick run through of what I kind of think here. But right in here, you can kind of see already analysis is saying, hey, as this gets up in here, you can see there's the P&L theoretically and P&L at expiration. So P&L expiration means if you held this trade all the way to expiration and it was $135, like Apple comes with $135, I'd actually lose $80. But theoretically, tomorrow or today, if it went up to $135, I would be up $331 on this trade. So it allows you to make a good decision when you should get out and get into trades. And set realistic profit targets, and then you can adjust. So if you go under analysis here, and I'm in this expiration here, January 29th, you can actually run hypothetical scenarios and say, hey, since I thought that implied volatility was low, implied volatility was at 45%. What if implied volatility increases to 20%? What does that do to my contract? So up 20%, I should say. So let's say it goes from 45% to 65%. As you can see here, right now it's at 45. I'll hit enter. It'll change implied volatility to 60%. Now it's saying, let me zoom back out, zoom in here. If it comes to 135, instead of making it was like a few minutes ago, 330, if implied volatility shoots up, I'm going to make 580. And that kind of shows you how much implied volatility can help or hurt your situation depending on what you're in. And then if you want to see, okay, what's going to happen as time goes on, you could say, okay, this is 22 days to expiration. You can hit a number, so it actually highlights your expiration on here. So let's say, hey, I want to see what happens next Friday, January 15th. What's this contract going to be? So let's hit it. So January 15th. Right now, if this is all the same, 135, you can kind of see here, this contract will now be worth, let's see here, we're at 130. So it will be worth about, hold on, let me get rid of implied volatility here. Let me reset it. It's just the way you see it. Let's say implied volatility doesn't change, and we're at January 15th. Just to kind of give a more realistic number here. So if I were to hold on to right here, it's saying theoretically I'll be up $70. I don't think that's 100% right. But as you can see here, January 15th, it comes up here. I'm gonna be up only 322, 325 on this theoretically, but at expiration I'll be down $85. So you can kind of play with it and kind of see how the numbers change and start doing real world scenarios like, okay, if implied volatility goes up, what if implied volatility goes down, and really try to focus on what strategy you want to use in terms of what's best for the stock, the price, implied volatility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to make your own decision based on that. But this allows you to kind of visualize it on how you want to trade that particular stock and how that contract will perform in the future without you having to like write down and do the math. Like, okay, theta loses $1 a day, blah, 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 But that kind of goes to another thing. It shows you here, what's theta, what's your delta, really puts it out on the screen here. It shows you everything that you need to know to make a good decision right here on one screen. And this screen is the same on table or on curve. So that is the trade tab. Now activity I've been using less and less, mainly due to the chains. Because if I have the chains here, I'm just looking at what I've been doing here on the chains. But activity will show you, hey, what did you do today? If you want to see what trades you made today, if you want to go into yesterday, if you want to go in the last 30 days and scroll through it all. The thing is, like, it's not going to be in order. That's why I like the chains. It will kind of group it, but it kind of helps if you just want to look at what trades you did today. You can say, oh, I only made 2 trades today, and they were closing trades. They were not open. You can kind of see here. I got a credit for these. These were long, but like for Snap, you really want to look at, like what I want to look at is like, when did I open this trade? I don't even know. And you can kind of see here from the chains, and you can see here I made $80 profit. But you see here the last 30 days, Snap not performing that well for me. I'm down $200 on Snap overall the last 30 days. Had some losers, but I had a nice winner. So maybe I had a better entry. Maybe it just went, who knows? You have to determine that for yourself. Going into the next thing, the watch list. I don't really use them that much now that I have my own watch list and stuff. But if you're the type of trader who's like, I don't know where to start, you can go through the different watch lists that are pre-generated through tastyworks, and they will tell you exactly what they are. I mean, you have Tom's watch list, Tom Sosnoff's. This is what his actual watch list is. You can go into what the futures are. These are futures. You can go into, okay, these stocks are at 52-week highs or near them. These are at 52-week lows. So it's kind of, I guess their watch lists are more kind of like scanners in a way. It does tell you what liquidity there is. So when you're trading options, obviously you want a higher liquidity. 4 stars is going to be the best, but you have to go through it and really make sure it's displaying the right data before you get into there. You can see different sectors. If you want to trade a certain sector, utilities. So I mean, they really built it out nice. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on here, so you can go in through here. I mean, I think you get the idea. I mean, you guys are smart people, so I don't need to beat you over the head with this. Now, the thing about the charts, for me, really lack, and that's why I use Thinkorswim charts. I mean, it's just really cumbersome to view. You have to click, down here, and right now this is the 15-minute view. If you want to go to the 1 year, you hit the daily, and then you have to change daily from 5 days to 1. Like it's very cumbersome to do that. So I don't really like to do that. The nice thing is they're starting to take charts more seriously, and under Tasty Charts, they just added this in here for Tasty Charts, so that way you can have multiple views at one time. See, I have the 1 minute chart here. You can have the 1 minute chart lined up with, let's say, the 5 minute chart. So let's say you're trading the 1 minute chart and the 5 minute chart on, let's say, SPY, and they could be different tickers, and then you can add different columns. Let's say you want another column or another row here. And the nice thing about it is it does like detach, so you can move it to like another monitor if you want to. You can move this to a different monitor and play with it there. But I mean, still, their charts definitely lack. But for beginners, I mean, it might be okay on what you want to do. And it looks like it kind of glitched up here. I don't know why it's like all the way over like that. Let's try to fix it. I think it's glitched. So yeah, that's a new feature. But like I said, I use Thinkorswim for my charting. You could also use TradeView, that kind of thing, because it's just not dependable. But I do like pretty much every other aspect of tastyworks. I mean, it's easy to fly through trades. It's easy to put trades on. It's very easy to visualize how you're doing in terms of profitability, how you're able to keep track of your trades through, let's say you put a trade on a month ago, 2 months ago. So just wanted to do a quick run through, do a bit of a tutorial, kind of give you an overview of tastyworks. If you enjoyed this video, you watched to the end, hit the like button, comment below, watch to the end. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.